Hey everyone, Aiden with Hush Hush Photography and Film here. Thought I would do something interesting today and just show you some of the gear we use to do our weddings, engagements, families, some of the commercial work I shoot and so on. If you're a bride or a groom or just a friend watching, this might not be all that interesting to you, but if you are into photography or are just curious about the stuff that we use, this might be interesting to you. So, to begin with, this is our Pelican case. We bought this bad boy, probably 3 years ago or so, and it, with the exception of a few scuffs, it is just as good as it was 3 years ago. This thing is fantastic. It's got wheels, which are really great. It's got a pull-out handle, so it's really easy to cart around. This thing is heavy, so you definitely don't want to have to lift it too long. Up a flight of stairs is about it, and even then it's taxing. But it's fantastic. I can jump on it. It's solid. Technically, with the gasket, you could throw it into a pool and it would float, but I've yet to try that. But the peace of mind is there. Anyways, this is a solid case. Highly recommended if you want something that is seriously rugged and durable and is going to last you a long time. Get a Pelican case. They're expensive, but they're worth it, and you'll probably never have to upgrade it. So, looking inside, here's all the gear that we use to shoot a wedding. So, starting with the bodies, Leanne and I both use D750 bodies as our primary bodies. These are really good. They are, this isn't the 750. Two 750 bodies. They're great. They're full frame. The dual card slots, nice. The noise performance on these in high ISO settings is phenomenal. The shadow detail and the recovery and what you can pull out of a raw file is amazing. This articulated screen is super handy, especially because we are shooting more and more video, just that you can hold the camera really low, really high. It's amazing. If you're looking for a full frame camera at a decent price, buy a D750. I think they're about to announce a successor to it, but it's an amazing camera. Highly recommend. This is our D600. This is my second body when we're shooting. It's a great stills camera. We don't shoot much video on it because it is slightly limited in that regard. We do 1080p at 60 frames a second, which this thing cannot do. But otherwise, honestly, the low light performance on this thing is great as well. The autofocus is a little crappier, and it doesn't have that articulated screen. But for the most part, D600 is a great camera. If you clean your own sensor, or if you get the shutter replaced, you shouldn't have any problems with the oil. And so far, we're very happy. These, we have two of these. These are the Nikon 50mm 1.8G that was released a couple years ago. We were looking at upgrading our 50. The 50 is my primary focal length. And we were looking at the 1.4, and especially with Nikon, just weren't crazy about it, hadn't heard great things about it, so we went with the 1.8. It's pretty light, it's fast, it's not too bad. Hopefully I'll upgrade it to a Sigma Art 50 one day, but for the most part, right now, these are great lenses. This is one of our newest lenses. This is the Sigma 35 1.4 Art. This is one of Leanne's main lenses. It's a great focal length. 35mm is so comfortable. Definitely, if you could only have one lens, this would be the one to get. We pull it out all the time. It's really great for video for us, especially when we're shooting wedding parties, trying to get everyone in. But honestly, you can walk around with this all day. It'd be totally fun. This is the Nikon Micro 40mm 2.8G. This is technically a DX lens we bought a long time ago. The only time this ever gets pulled out is on the wedding day when we're shooting the rings. So for the most part, this just sits in the case, but when we pull it out for rings, it's great at that. And that's pretty much all we need it for. This is arguably my favorite lens that we own and probably has the most character. This is the Sigma 24 1.4. It's just amazing. I could go on and on. This camera lens has changed the way I photograph. Some of my favorite portraits I've ever taken, like that New York City, the Times Square couple photo, one at Jamie Linnaeus wedding. Some of those different photos that I love were taken with this lens. And I love it because it's a hard lens to use. I find it really wide. Sometimes it's just confusing. I don't know. You know, sometimes things can look really ugly because you have such a wide field of view. But when you get it right, this lens just sings. It's amazing. This is Leanne's go-to. This is the Sigma 1.4. This is a great lens. Definitely highly recommend getting it. They did just release the Art series. We haven't upgraded to it yet, but hopefully we'll get there soon. Otherwise, this thing is pretty much on par in terms of autofocus speed, and honestly, it's a great lens. Sigma is doing some great stuff. We absolutely love what they're doing. Then, here we go. This is the Nikon 85 1.8D. We've had this bad boy for a little while now. It's sat in the bag, yeah, for a couple of years. This I pull out during ceremonies, basically when the bride and groom are up at the front. It helps us to get the focal length without getting too close. Maybe one day we'll upgrade to a 135. But for the most part right now, we've got our lenses covered. Then I guess we have 4 different off-camera flashes that we use. These are 2 Nikon Speedlight SB700s. They're a great flash. Pretty much everything you'd expect. Some people, they're not quite as bulky as the 900s. Some people complain about the power, but for us, we try not to use too much off-camera flash. We're happy with those. And then we've also got 2 Yongnuo YN562s. Basically, super cheap flash. I think these were like 40 or 50 bucks a piece. One of them is being held together with gaffer tape right now. The battery door broke. But honestly, these things are great. I use them in slave mode a lot. They're super handy. If you've forgotten your triggers are dead. And honestly, for the most part, besides the fact that these are manual and the Nikons are TTL, you wouldn't notice a difference. Haven't had too many problems with them misfiring or anything like that. So definitely I would highly recommend. These are a set of flash triggers we use. A lot of people love Pocket Wizards. I can never afford to pony up all that cash to drop on them. We started with these Honel Combi TF ones. They're really great. Honestly, we keep them. We've had them for years now. We keep them just as backups. You've got your transmitter and you've got a receiver here. Honestly, they work great. The batteries are easy to change. We don't have much to complain about. Then we have these Phottix Strato 2 multi ones. These are really great because the transmitter has TTL pass-through, I think it's called. So you can stick a flash on top of your camera with the trigger that's also triggering another flash. Super handy. You've got a little more control on these. Honestly, though, they're so cheap. They work great. Highly recommend them. The only reason we haven't bought more of these is because there's nothing wrong with the Honels, and we don't very often shoot with too much off-camera flash. Here's a big roll of gaffer tape, always good to have on hand. Never know when something's going to break or something goes wrong, but it's good to have it. This is the Neewer CN160. It's a video light we use. This thing gets pretty bright. There is, tungsten gel, I guess, and then there's more of the, there's a clear one. I don't know the technical name for it. These things are great. We do own a couple of these. We pull them out once in a while just for the sake of when we're shooting something. We don't do too much video light with these. I just don't really like the look of it in our films. But we have them. We can use them if we need to. Otherwise in here, we've got, stuff to clean our sensors. We do have a couple extra batteries and some extra AA batteries. We just use the Energizer batteries, honestly, and before a wedding, we charge all our camera batteries, our AA's, AAA's, and never had a problem. They're great. A lot of people like the, I can't think of the name of them, begins with an E anyways. Honestly, never had a problem with these. This is another thing we use. This is an Expo disc. We bought 2 of these so we can have them in the morning, especially when you're shooting at people's houses under mixed lighting or really bad lighting and your camera can't quite find the right white balance. These are great. You set your white balance manually, and they're just fantastic. They work really handy. Keep them on me pretty much the whole wedding day. Set them once when you walk into a new room, and you're good to go. Yeah, that's kind of the base of it there. These are camera holster straps that we use. We had these custom made by our friend Chris Poirier from Pear Tree Leather here in Hamilton, Ontario. So these are really great. They go over your shoulders. They look pretty sharp. And what we do is our cameras have these little hooks at the bottom. Hook them on, tighten them up, and we're good to go. A couple extra buckles so we can attach stuff, usually car keys and this and that. But honestly, these are great. The leather work is amazing. Highly recommend Pear Tree Leather if you need anything custom made. Chris's philosophy is that products we buy should wear in, not wear out. And that's definitely been the case with these. They were a worthwhile investment for sure. Then on to the more computer side. I did just upgrade our main computer over to the 2016 MacBook Pro. It's a great little thing with touch bar. I bought a Dell and just was not happy with it. I found it super laggy despite out-speccing this thing. Honestly, it's great. We're very happy. Then here is a bunch of Western Digital hard drives we use. So we back up all our weddings and different things on these bad boys. We've got hard drives galore. They're fantastic. These are super small. Buy a bunch of them on Black Friday every year. They're fantastic. This is a little Think Tank memory card bag, and we use SanDisk cards. We use the 64 gig ones. We have a huge handful of them, and we get to swap them out, never have to worry too much about backing up photos and so on. And then the last thing I guess I use on a daily basis would be this Field Notes little book. If you've never used the Field Notes, I hadn't until I'd really become full-time, but this thing is great. I write up a to-do list every single day and work through it, record a bunch of thoughts if I'm working out some new poses, this, that, and the other. This thing is great. But yeah, so that's kind of the main gear we use day to day. We have a ton of light stands and reflectors and this and that, but it's all pretty just, cheap stuff. Nothing too special to report there. But yeah, this is the gear we use every day to make our business happen. And yeah, hope you enjoy.